Cheers.
Hello, everybody.
We are enjoying a nice cup of pumpkin spice coffee, compliments of Sherry and the North Pole Coffee Company because it's cold outside.
It has gotten cold outside, hasn't it?
It has. Happy Sunday, everybody. My favorite day of the week, as you all know.
So how cold is it where you are?
It's been chilly here, and this Florida girl is getting broken into the chili. Ooh. It's been chilly here, and what are you doing over there?
I don't know. My sound.
Brett's so excited he's watching himself on his phone.
Watching myself. I can see the chat better over here in case there's something.
So I was a little chilly this week, and I was talking to my friend Jason in Alaska. And he was saying, don't worry, it starts out like that with your body hurting. And by the end, you'll be wearing shorts and flip-flops. So we'll see. Hopefully Jason is right.
How are you liking your first bit of cold, other than visiting Ohio, maybe?
I like it. I mean, I'd rather bundle up than be sweating my buns off in a swamp. So, yeah. And that's what I say about Florida. I see we got a couple people talking about in the 20s.
40s look good. Kansas.
Melanie says it's 20 in Wisconsin. Woo. Chile willy.
So
45.
I think we're about 45 here in Tennessee, but tonight we're supposed to get down to about 20, low 20s. Ooh. And they were actually calling for snow here last night for about 2 hours. We didn't see any.
I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get snow. I've never seen falling snow.
It was only a 45% chance, and that was at 10 o'clock last night. And I looked at 10. I didn't see anything.
We saw deers out in the yard. There were no snow.
There were some deer in the yard.
Yeah. There wasn't. They were nice looking fatties.
I hit them with the flashlight through the window, and they look at you with these green eyes because their eyes turn green.
They're like, excuse me, you're interrupting our buffet.
They were giving us that deer in the headlight look. You know?
They're so cute, and they're that nice brown this time of year, so they blend in very well.
Yeah, we don't shoot at them, and we don't scare them off. We just look at them, and we appreciate that they're in the area so prevalent, that they're here a lot.
Denise says 25 in Knoxville.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bit cooler there.
Yeah. Well, they're more north.
20 in Ohio, 24 in southern Michigan.
Yeah.
Amy says it's 45 in South Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very different degrees. I actually was thinking, oh, I might enjoy going back to Florida now.
We're in South Middle Tennessee.
So, yeah, it's been an adjustment, but I like the cold. Mm-hmm. I like bundling up. You can always bundle up, but you can only take off so much clothes when it's hot.
Legally, anyway.
And some people should really wear more than they do.
More than they do, yeah.
So
with the colder temperatures, what does that mean for RVers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We had to do some special stuff.
We did. We did video it. That should come out this week, but we ended up having to winterize the RV because
that's already out.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
So she keeps up with all that, so I have to ask. So yeah, we had to winterize the RV because it is getting down in the 20s, and although the RV is inside, that's not heated space.
Yeah, so it does get cold out in that garage.
It's just a sheet metal, and it's over to concrete, and concrete will hold the cold.
Definitely.
So sometimes you walk in there and it feels colder than it is outside.
Yes, even in here, it's felt like that on certain days.
Mm-hmm. So we did have to winterize the RV. It's not a complicated process, and every RV is a little bit different, but they're very similar in that you got to get the water into the lines. Your hot water tank has to be drained. You want to bypass your hot water tank so you don't have to fill up your hot water tank. Those are just the majors, to be concerned with.
And you can get the jugs of the pink stuff for about $4 at Walmart.
It's not expensive.
So, and what did we use? One and
a little bit of another one. And we have another one and a little bit because we didn't know how much we were going to need. So
better to have too much than not enough.
It's not the price of car antifreeze. It's not the same thing.
I didn't know what it was because I've never seen it before in Florida. All this new stuff I'm seeing, the stuff to cover your windows. Like, I don't know what any of that stuff is.
We're in
The ice
Walmart and she's
scrapers.
looking at the car antifreeze. Like, oh, I ain't spending $20 on this. Look,
I don't know nothing about
the RV
it.
antifreeze is maybe $4 to $6. It's usually pink. Sometimes it's blue.
In Florida, when you winterize, you put on socks with your flip-flops. That's winterizing in Florida.
It can get cold in Florida too now, but it won't stay there.
No, not at all.
At the campground, we had temperatures in the 20s, but it's a morning low. Like, it actually cools down around daybreak. When the sun starts to come up, it'll cool down more before it comes back up. So that's usually your coldest overnight is right before daybreak. So if the sun's rising around 6 a.m., let's say, your coldest will be between 5 and 7.
Yeah, it doesn't last long.
It doesn't last long. It's a very short time. So don't think, oh, no, we're getting down to 20s. If it's just once for one night for 2 hours, that's not going to freeze your water.
And a lot of people will leave their faucets dripping and things like that because it's very short. I remember when I delivered mail, a lot of the mailboxes would get frozen shut. You'd have to deliver mail with a rubber mallet so you could bang the boxes open. Sometimes it's not that big a deal in Florida. So I had no clue how to winterize. It was a lesson for me for sure.
Yeah. So we had to, what I would normally do is go to my tenants who are at the end of a water line because I know where the water lines are underground. And if you're at the end, I just have them make sure to drip lightly their faucet when they go to bed. Usually when people are up, they're all using enough water. You don't have that problem. But if everybody's in bed and the water has stopped, you want there to be a light drip at the end of the line. That's all it needs. It doesn't need to be pouring or streaming.
We never had any problems.
Drip. That's all it takes. Moving water is hard to freeze. Now, if it got down to 0 or something, you might need a stream of water, but it doesn't get that cold.
So,
but anyway, so that's
that
interesting.
Was easy. We also had to winterize the pipes under the house.
We did. I need to do some more of that. Under the house is warmer than outside. It does have a concrete block around it, and then the whole house sits on top of it. And so you do have some good insulation underneath. What I did is there's vents that go around the house, so I styrofoam blocked those vents. And then there's a man door entrance that you open to go underneath. But what I did this week is I realized it was going to get a little colder than a little sooner colder than I thought. So I got some styrofoam, the pipe insulation that goes on the outside, and I used all that I had, but I didn't get all the pipes covered.
I just put some more on the list. Okay. Bam.
And I need some more of the bigger size, just a little bit. Where the water line comes in.
Yeah, so we'll have to finish that up this week.
Yeah, we'll finish that up. It's not hard to do. You do it one time, it should last, forever. You shouldn't have to do it every season. Once it's done, it's done. So also when you run the heater too, I think there's some escape we have the heat pump system here. Now heat pumps, they do better at cooling than they do heating. They don't really blow hot air. They blow lukewarm air, and they're only really efficient to 20 degrees above or beyond your inside temperature. So it works about 20 degrees plus or minus. So when it gets down to 20 and teens, they become less effective, less efficient. So you'll hear it come on a lot more. It's working a lot harder. So if you have other little heaters that you can use sparingly and drop your temperatures down for as cold as you can stand it, then you're going to keep that heat pump from having to work so hard, and you're going to keep it from coming on so much and running your electric bill up.
Yeah, I've always, rather than run heat, when I lived in Florida, obviously you don't have to use it that much, but I know some people, I would visit their house and it felt like you were walking into an oven. Like they would have it up into the mid 70s to upper. I don't know why you would do that, but I would just wear sweatpants just like I am now. I'm wearing a couple layers. I have sweatpants, a sweatshirt, and all that. But I would rather bundle up and layer up than turn on the heat. Just turn it on a little, take the edge off, but don't make an oven out of your house.
If you're walking around in your house and it's 20 degrees outside and you're walking around in shorts, then your thermostat's too high. You're just wasting electricity is what you're doing. Put on some clothes. They're free. Free.
Are they?
Well, I mean, once you buy them.
Well, maybe there's some nudists out there that want high heat bills.
Perhaps.
I am not that person. I will put on my sweats, and you feel all comfy all in your sweats, which is dangerous too, because you got the loose waist and everything. So if you're eating too much, you're not going to know if your pants are too tight because you're wearing your sweats. So don't forget to put on your jeans every once in a while and check yourself.
You feel like you got extra
see if you've been eating too much.
Extra space to fill up.
But again, I want to thank everybody for joining us on this beautiful Sunday, and thank all our moderators for the awesome job they do. I see plenty of y'all in the chat: Amy, Heather, Nancy, Melanie, Carol.
And if I missed
anybody, I'm sorry.
If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. That helps the algorithm. Since we have refrained from talking about a lot of the drama that runs up the numbers, we have fewer numbers in the chat, so that thumbs up button helps us out a little bit with the algorithm.
I like to stay away from the drama and the negativity because it's just not good for your health.
And I'll tell you, really,
it's ridiculous, really.
It's ridiculous. And what it does is they're getting a big viewership right now, but when it falls off, they might completely die because they're not going to be loyal.
Well, there's nothing good about drama.
And there's nothing good about it.
It's just a bunch of trash talk. I don't understand what anybody gets out of it. So I don't engage in it. Yeah. It's not necessary for me.
When our lawsuit does end, and I suspect it probably will before Christmas, if it does, then we'll come on and we'll talk about the whole thing, probably in one video, and then we're done with it. So that's probably what we had talked about doing. Instead of talking about it in pieces, we'll talk about the whole thing.
Well, number one, it's not even a good idea to talk about while you're in litigation.
Not when you're in litigation, right?
I mean, and you can't be throwing out all your cards and all these other things. So that's just extra ridiculousness.
That's common sense. Yeah. So we won't really talk about that until it's over.
I like uplifting things and positive things and what good stuff we can do for each other, not bashing each other for views.
And I don't think at any time on this channel or any of our videos have we violated any laws. None. We were even respectful to the point of beyond respectful in regards to what we put on our videos. So we're pretty confident that this will all blow over and we can all go on with the rest of our lives. Hopefully, that's the game plan.
So what else? So anyway, while I was thanking everybody, and we got off track there a little bit.
Little track.
The choo-choo went off the tracks.
Choo-choo.
So, it's been quite a week. We've done a lot of stuff, but haven't done a lot of stuff because we spent a couple of days at the house here, which is not normal, but I really don't like to go out on Black Friday. I'm not into all the shopping.
No.
I do like to get a few things that I'll need throughout the year, but I don't like to excessively shop. That's not my thing to do anyway. And sometimes it's a time to buy people gifts because you can get them cheaper. So I didn't go out on Black Friday. I did order a couple of things online, What did I order?
Cyber Monday.
I ordered some. Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Cyber Monday. I did order some Bibles.
A lot of these are some traps too. I'll tell you, like Amazon's advertising right now, 15 items that might be on your wish list on Black. And everybody's wish list might be different. I'm sure they got algorithms that trigger based on what you search for.
Of course.
But unless you're looking for something specific, I warn you about, it's such a great price, I got to have it. and then you get it, and then it's like, what do you do with it? It just sits, it just, collects dust. So be smart with your money. Look for deals on things that you were looking to buy anyway. Don't let the ads trick you into buying something you don't need.
Right. Even that Ninja Creamy that I was talking about last time we were on, I checked it out. I could have got one for $150. Do I think I need one for $150? Nope. So I didn't get one. If I happen to see one on Facebook Marketplace at some point discounted, maybe I'll get one, but it's not like a necessary item. If I happen to have seen it at a good price, sure, I would have picked it up, but $150, not good enough for me. So
yeah, we're both pretty good at window shopping. And so we have other things we'd rather spend our money on, like, campground fees or gas. Those things are inevitable if you're traveling. But we don't even go out to eat that much.
Yeah, we have to be careful too, because we do have a small home and the RV is really small. So you don't want to collect too much stuff. You guys got to make sure it's the things you need and maybe a couple of things that you wanted, but don't go crazy. And I say that for everybody because I see a lot of people get themselves in debt, and it's a sad thing to see, but they market everything to make everybody think they have to have everything. So just be careful not to fall in that trap. I know a lot of people are on fixed incomes, especially these days. It's hard to budget everything.
Yeah.
So just don't feel like you need different stuff. I used to say, even for giving people gifts, why can't you just bake them something or make them something? You don't have to give something that costs a bunch of money. Even give your time. Time is the most valuable thing to give to anybody.
Yeah, think about the real meaning of Christmas.
Spend a day with somebody or this and that. I guarantee you they will appreciate it much more than throwing money at them.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents on the holidays and being careful not to get yourself in debt and spending too much money. But we did spend Friday at the house. We spent Thursday at the house doing Thanksgiving. It was a great day. I didn't actually plan on spending that much time in the kitchen, but whether you're cooking for 2 or 15, you still spend all the same amount of hours and have almost all the same amount of dishes.
Yeah.
So it was a long day of cooking just for the 2 of us, but we enjoyed it. Obviously, there was no drama, no drunk relatives or anything like that.
Yeah, we were looking for small turkeys, 10 pounds or less. So
that's a challenge.
It is, because all of them are big. So we did find a 10-pound turkey, and I looked online to see how many meals can be expected to get from a 10-pound turkey, and it says 6 to 8. So we challenged ourselves to figure out how many meals we could appropriate with a 10-pound turkey. And so far we've had 6 meals. Is that right?
Yeah, and I would say there's 2 more.
And we think maybe there's 2 more meals.
$5 on that turkey.
So that's 10 meals for $5. That's the meat side.
What a bargain.
The meat side of what we ate. So then, of course, we had cranberry sauce. We just got one, and when it runs out, that's it. And then we did some beans, and we did get 2 pies, but we wish we had not. It's too much.
I think if we turn the fireplace on, we'd roast our buns right now. You guys wouldn't even see it. Sorry. But we've been using the fireplace for the last couple of days, actually.
Yep.
And it is very nice. I'm sorry we can't share the visual with you, but I'm not burning my buns.
We're sitting right up on the fireplace right now. So it's got a gas insert. And so we just use a propane bottle to fire up the gas insert. And it does heat up the room. Not hot, but you can tell it raises the temperature of the room a couple of degrees if it's on for 30, 45 minutes. And that little bit helps.
And the ambiance, it's just so romantic.
Now, I would rather burn wood, but here's the thing with wood. One, I'd have to get the chimney swept. The flue is screwed shut, so that would have to be opened up. And I don't know when the last time that was ever opened up.
Probably a while.
Right. And I'd have to change out the grates, and then I'd have to get some tools. You need the things to put the logs in, and then you have to cut.
Don't ask me. I don't know anything about a fireplace either.
You have to cut all the wood, which there's a few trees down, but there's not a lot. So I think I could burn through them pretty quick, and then I'd be like, well, now what? Am I buying wood? So wood is a lot. I do like what it gives, but the other thing with wood is, let's say we want to run to the store. Oh, I need to run to the store. We got some errands to run. That fire doesn't go out that quick, and that fire doesn't come on quick.
True.
It takes a while to start it, and it takes a while for it to go out. You don't want to leave the house with a fire burning in your fireplace. So for us, it's just easier to have the gas. It's on, and when it's off, I can turn it off in a second, and I can start it right back up. And there's nothing to have to clean afterwards. There's no wood to have to split and to bring up here and cure it and then burn it. So it's a lot less maintenance.
Yeah, so we have the propane tank. We went and got that filled. And we have been using it. It has been very nice.
And we don't plan to be here all winter.
No.
So that would be some more waste. We're
going to be hitting the road real soon, y'all.
So it's just a few days here and there that we even use it. So, but it is nice to be able to use it.
It definitely is. Another thing we did this week, another reason we stayed home for like 3 days in a row, was we got our windows replaced.
Oh, yes. We got our windows done. So we have new windows in the house now. Lowe's did forget. They did drop the ball on 2 of the windows. The upstairs windows have not yet been done, but they realized it right away, and they've reordered those windows because they didn't get ordered. So it might be another month, or 6 weeks before they come back. Coffee. Before they come back and get those windows. But all the downstairs windows are done.
And they came in pretty fast because the other people we got quotes from were talking about, I think, January, right?
January, and it would take 2 to 3 days to install them. This team of 4 people.
Well, I don't know about 2 or 3 days. I think they were all 1 day.
Were they 1 day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
3 hours.
3 hours to do 8 windows. And they're caulked, they're sealed, they're screwed into the frame. We got
Hi, James from Anchorage.
We got video of that, and plus I was able to ask them questions. I saw what they did. They said that they don't think these windows were hard, and I could have probably done them myself. The thing is, I would have spent probably the better part of a whole day getting 1 window in order to learn all the little intricacies. Plus, they had this special foam that they used. 1 can does like 10 windows, and the attachment that they use to spray it with is like a $50 tool. So there would have been some expenses I would have had.
Well, that's the thing with doing any jobs. Yeah. There's always specialty tools, which of course you can go rent as well, but you just have to add that into the cost, and then the time it takes to learn. And, you might not have sealed them as good as they did or something like that.
And it comes with a warranty. They have a 1-year warranty on them.
Even when we did drywall, we didn't have the right tools. It's nice when you have the bazooka and you got the right knives and the pans. And when you just have like one little knife to use and one cheesy little pan, you can see the difference of how nice it is to have quality tools.
Correct.
When I was young and I did drywall with my dad, we had all the right tools. It made everything so easy. Mm-hmm. So it makes things much harder when you have to use the bare essentials and you don't know what you're doing anyway.
I never installed windows. I've done a lot of things, windows I've never done. So I didn't know how easy they made it look really easy.
Yeah, well, a lot of those,
when you get the window home and you're trying to do it, it ain't going to go in like that.
Well, a lot of those guys had been doing it for between 20 and 30 years. So they are very seasoned. They probably could do it in their sleep. So
would I have saved some money? For sure, probably. But would they have been done right? Would I have problems with them 3 months from now when we're pouring down rain? That's not when you want to realize you put in a window the wrong way.
No. And I wouldn't want to deal with all the grumpiness of the situation or things like that.
Frustration, the running back and forth to the store because you forgot something.
Yeah. Sometimes that's no fun at all.
And I'll tell you, I notice a big difference. I think I notice a difference in how much the temperature in the house drops overnight with these windows. There's been a difference.
There's a huge difference in that. There's also a difference. We had a ton of ladybugs in the house that were getting in through the front windows that had a large gap. And I haven't really seen the ladybugs in here like they were.
Right.
So, I mean, there's worse things you could have in your house, but
Oh yeah.
I've never had a house full of ladybugs before.
No,
It was
in
like
Florida,
a
it's cockroaches.
ladybug infestation.
Yeah.
Those are supposed to be good luck, right?
They are. So
we
we're
should
full
be
of
all
good luck.
lucked up
We should be
now.
good for 25, right?
Oh, goodness. But yeah, it was fun just being able to hang out at home a little bit. We did miss our house while we were away. So, but now it's almost getting to the point where, okay, ready to hit the road
Ready
again.
to hit the road.
So we'll be preparing for that this week.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to prepare? I call it the preparing for Otter Creek.
Oh, Shizzy Wiznut's in the house. Hey, Shizzy, how you doing?
Shazam.
We've been watching some of your stuff. I think you were on with Tug the other night, and I listened to it. I usually don't catch it live. It's usually I catch it during commercials. We're watching TV, or if we're doing something, I'll try to put one bud in or something and listen to it. But I think you're very articulate. I like listening to you and Tug talk when you're talking about serious matters. Sometimes Tug will go off on these tangents, and I understand. I love Tug, don't get me wrong. But when he's with Megan, sometimes those subjects get brought way off course, and there's a lot of joking around and stuff. But I appreciated, really tuned in and listened to when the two of y'all were talking intelligent conversation and engaging. That's what I like to listen to. So I appreciate that. And
I don't catch all of the stuff.
No, she watches less than I do.
I'm usually with earbuds in, editing and doing different stuff. I have a lot of stuff I also like to listen to. I have different sermons I like to listen to throughout the week. So usually we're wearing earbuds, or I'm wearing earbuds and he's listening. So he knows more of what's going on than I do. So ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, we'll be getting ready to go to Otter Creek. For me, that's a whole big mental preparation, as well as packing and making sure you don't forget anything. Now, while we were in Savannah, I did make a list of things to bring, because every trip out is an experience getting it perfected, because before we had everything with us because we didn't have a house. So now we can leave stuff and take stuff. So we're trying to get the right mix of stuff so we don't have to keep going back and forth with everything as much as possible. But yeah, it's a big mental preparation also going to Otter Creek, because obviously there's drama there, there's negativity, but I'm trying to focus on the good things that are going on. Christmas in the creek and the festival and the good people and getting to hug my friends, and just trying not to think of any dangerous situations or people's ridiculous threats or anything like that.
So if you guys are going to be visiting for Christmas in the Creek and Otter Creek and you're camping, we'd ask that you keep in mind Shady Oaks Campground. We're still supporting Shady Oaks, and we will, if there's vacancy, that's probably where we're going to try to stay first.
Yeah,
and
Shady Oaks will be our first choice.
And if they're full, you got Zim's Campground there also as well, or we could boondock it if the weather's nice.
If Zim's Campground's full, then we'll just go somewhere else. We're kind of leaving it open for everybody else to get first dibs.
Yeah, we're not locking down any
we'll
dates.
Just figure out where we're staying when we get there.
Right.
Just winging it. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
All good in the hood.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a big mental preparation. I pray for everything to go smoothly and everyone to have a good time, and all those children just to have fun and get toys.
Yeah, it's fun to watch the kids light up.
Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus and the elves, and that's really what it's about, and focusing on that. So I try to get past any of the worries of any negativity. I don't validate the worries. I give it to God, and He'll handle it, and everything's going to be great. And it's just going to be another success for the children, because, this is the biggest thing for this time of year, and it should be all year long. It just, you get more reminded of it this year that you really need to be kind to each other and have grace with each other and be forgiving and help people as much as you can. You know, we shouldn't be hoarding things here on this earth. We should be helping each other. So I think a lot of people forget that at times. And I know when people wrong you and do things against you, it's very hard to continue to have a soft heart and be generous, because you want to put up a wall and block everybody out because you don't want to be hurt again. But that's not what we're supposed to do.
Right.
So you're supposed to forgive and learn your lessons out of different situations, but don't get a hard heart and don't stop helping people.
Yeah, there's no need to stress over it, because God's in control ultimately. And if people are doing you wrong, they're going to be judged for that. So let God handle it. Let him deal with it. And that's how you're supposed to handle it.
Yeah. I know I've had lots of wrongs in my life, and I've forgiven a lot of people, and I've had people ask me how I can do that, and it's easy. They don't need to be on my hook for anything. Everybody, every single one of us, including myself, is on God's hook.
Yep.
So I don't need to keep them on my hook. So forgiving them lets them off of my hook. It releases it all to God's hook. And however he deals with it, he deals with it. You know, you hope and pray that he forgives them and can correct them just like he did for me and you and everybody else.
Yeah.
So I know sometimes that's not the outcome of what most people want, because they want the whole eye for an eye thing and whatnot. But I believe that is misinterpreted. And that's not really how that works.
That's correct.
So, and I will definitely give a big hug to Belinda for everybody. I know everybody would like to give her a big hug. So I'll just have to give her a whole bunch of them and let her know how much you guys love her and appreciate her. She'll love to hear that.
Yep. Another thing I'd like to, if we wanted more information about hours of the festival and all this, normally where would you go to get that information?
Normally you would go to a town's website or Facebook page or a YouTube channel if they had one.
So Otter Creek should have had one of these by now, right?
Yeah.
So
at least a Facebook page. That doesn't take
we
long
really
to
don't
set
have a
up.
lot of information.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have all those different things to share with you, because if they've had any meetings in the town, we wouldn't know about it. So you guys probably know more about all the details of the festival than we do, or Christmas in the Creek, because I haven't a clue about hours. We know that they are doing the toys in the barn at Zim's campground. That's where they are going to have Santa and Mrs. Claus, because it's a bigger space for everyone to be. And hopefully he has a good layout for cars to come in and park. I'm sure they've discussed all those things, I would hope.
Yeah.
And I know someone was asking about the layout of where the barn is located in the campground. So if you're looking at the campground from 24, the campground sites will be to your right, and to the left of Zim's house, which is the gray and white house in the center of the property, you'll see a barn in that corner, and that's where the toys will be. So I know people were worried that there might be a bunch of people wandering all through the campground and all that.
They shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be.
It's pretty separated. All the campsites are on the west side of the park. So, and his house is right in the center. And then he has this open field on the other side.
And that's Otter Creek in Florida.
We've seen the building that he plans on using when it was under construction. He walked us through it, and we've seen it. So we know the size of it. It's not anywhere near the size of the ranch or the schoolhouse. I'm sorry, the schoolhouse. It's nowhere near that size, but it is 2 stories. And I don't know how he plans.
Yes, that was Sean, the elf on the shelf from last year.
Yeah.
I do not know if he'll be there this year.
I don't think it would be that much bigger than Town Hall if Town Hall had the garage door open and available to store stuff in. If that's still full of junk, then they don't have space.
I'm sure it is. Like,
I thought they should have done it from the town to
It's
be
a
a
lot
neutral
to
site.
get those rooms cleaned out. And again, walking into that mess of town hall when you have all those majorly important deadlines to get to, the cleaning out of the extra buildings and rooms is not on the top of the list.
No.
Now, I don't know. I would assume, well, there's probably still a lot to clean out in there because
I'm
they
gonna
just
guess
hoarded.
it's still full stuff.
They hoarded a lot of things. So,
Yeah.
um,
Even though Russell got rid of some of it.
yeah, well, that wasn't the junk.
No, that was the evidence.
Shameful, shameful.
So we don't have any mail to share with you today. We did go by the post office today, but the post office was closed, and we do have something to pick up.
Yeah, we
But
were being a little lazy this week,
Yeah.
hanging out at the house, so we didn't make it to the PO in time.
Yep. So they're only open half a day on Saturday. So we didn't get over there in time to get whatever would have been waiting for us. But there is something. They put a slip in your box, and so you have to pick it up. But we'll pick that up this week, and we'll show that next week.
Thank you, Melanie, for posting all those links. We really appreciate that.
Yep.
Will anyone do a live broadcast for Christmas in the Creek?
Yes. Now, we don't know exactly. We're probably going to be there, we think, about 5 days, give or take, depending on what's going on. But we want to cover Christmas in the Creek and the meeting.
Yeah, we will be at the meeting that follows, which I believe is the 17th.
Okay.
It's that following Tuesday. We will be at that meeting, and we will do a live broadcast from that meeting
Yep.
on this channel.
And we'll be
for
sure to
anybody who's
give
interested.
we'll be sure to give Zim a mic.
Yeah, he is soft spoken. I know he did say when he was growing up, he was always told he talked too loud and he needed to quiet down, and that's what he did.
He did.
And it has stuck with him even now. So he does try to speak up, but you know, he's been told to tone it down for so many years. And you know, when you're growing up and you're told what you should do and you don't want that belt on your buns, you tighten up and you listen. So that's what he did. So we'll try to get him a mic so that you guys can hear him. That room is terrible for sound because of the concrete floor and concrete walls and concrete everything. Oh, thank you so much, Wanda.
Pray for her sister has stomach cancer, she says.
We will definitely pray for your sister, Wanda. Please, everybody in the chat, also, if you could take a moment to say a prayer, we would appreciate that. It's really hard too at this time of year. Also adds to it when people are not feeling well or healthy. So, or anybody who has also lost loved ones. This is also a hard time of the year. So I would like to also remind everybody to reach out and make sure people are doing okay.
This isn't a festive time of year for everybody.
No, it's not. So just again, with being kind and thinking of others, just go out of your way to check on your neighbors and friends, send them a little text or knock on their door just to check in on them and let them know that you care. That means a lot for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Wanda, for reminding us of that as well. And we will definitely be saying a prayer. But we definitely look forward to going down there and seeing people.
Mm-hmm. And we may follow a little different schedule. I mean, we're still trying to keep to a schedule of 3 days a week, putting out our regular videos. There might be some extra lives in there, or there may be some videos of the Christmas in the Creek and preparing for Christmas in the Creek. And, you know, there might be other stuff. I know we want to visit Cedar Key and see how they're progressing with restoration and the cleanup recovery post-storm.
Yeah.
So we'll probably check on that, and we'll do a video or live from there. So we'll be sharing these kinds of things with you while we're there. And then I would like to go west. Now, we haven't confirmed any plans on this, but I'd like to actually just dip into Florida and leave. I don't want to stay there. travel west on I-10 and maybe end up maybe a stopover near Pensacola or I'd like to go across Alabama, Mississippi. I'm hearing good things about the Mississippi coast is actually cheaper than along the Florida coast. So might check that out. We'd like to make our way down to South Padre Island. I've always wanted to go down to South Padre, just never did. If people have been or live near there, can let us know, and you can send an email to Madam Mayor. She'd like to reach out to you and maybe ask you about some things to see or do. We're interested in camping along South Padre Island, somewhere along there. We'll have the Jeep with us, so we don't have to be on the water. We can be close to it or near or on the water. I mean, we're open. So when we go to camp somewhere, we usually try to look for the best value. And then if we need to travel to a place, that's why we have the Jeep. So,
yep. And we'll be bringing our e-bikes with us so
Yes.
we can do some more exploration and trails on that.
Yeah.
I haven't spent any time in Texas. I've been there one time for like 2 days for a convention. So
That was up in Dallas, wasn't it?
yeah. So that's exciting to go check out. So it will definitely be fun. Get a little adventures in to where it's a little warmer.
Yeah.
And then when it's like spring and summer of next year, we can go up high and go near Michigan and Maine and those
tentatively,
places.
and this is all subject to change, so don't hold me to it, but South Padre Island for a little while, parts of Texas, and then maybe meander. I know they have a wildlife safari in Texas.
Ooh.
So maybe that.
That'd be fun.
If it were warm enough, I'd visit New Braunfels. They got a water park there that's huge. You could, if it were baseball season, you could take in a baseball game.
Well, that better be some good pie, Robert.
There's a lot going on in Texas. Anyway, and we're going to talk about Texas in my soapbox segment. So good things.
I'll have to find a heavy jacket to bring.
We like to circle around and on our way back home, we may travel through Memphis, visit Elvis. You want to see Elvis?
I do. I really do.
There's a little base northeast of Memphis that has a little campground.
I'd love to go to Graceland.
We could probably spend some time there around Memphis, maybe a week or so, and visit some places in Memphis.
My Oma loved Elvis. It was so funny.
Who doesn't like Elvis?
That was like, I remember I worked at the library and we had CDs and DVDs and all that. And she wanted me to make her some Elvis CDs, burn them for her. And she just loved Elvis. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
She was cute. I miss my Oma.
So are you ready to go into our soapbox segment of the program?
That's Brett's soapbox.
That's my little soapbox. So this is an opportunity for me to talk about things that either bother me or poke me the wrong way, or maybe it's
sit back. This could take a while.
Maybe it's a lesson learned. So what we're going to do for my soapbox this week, we're going to talk about college football a little bit, not too much because it's not a sports theme. What I want to talk about is sportsmanship, good sportsmanship versus bad sportsmanship. So as some of you may know, there's the college football playoffs this year. Is going to have 12 teams, and they're going to play each other for a national championship. So of those 12 teams, 11 of them are going to face a loss as their last game of the year. So 11 of the 12 teams are going to go home with a loss. So it's kind of, you're going to have 11 disappointed teams and their fans. Only one team and those fans are going to be happy about the outcome of the entire playoff system, right? National champions will be happy because that's what they wanted.
I would imagine so.
So there should be gracious winners and gracious losers on both sides. And we saw examples We saw examples this weekend of bad sportsmanship and good sportsmanship. And I'd like to point those out because some people don't care about sports at all, like Therese doesn't care. I like to watch
Mayor Dan. Hi, Mayor Dan.
Hey, Mayor Dan. I'm following Tennessee. When I was in Florida, I was never a Gators fan. I just didn't like Gainesville. I didn't like
You're
the
supposed to like
people.
the Seminoles.
I like the Seminoles, but we didn't really live close enough to Florida State, Tallahassee to really get involved in with that fan base. Nothing really clicked for me in Florida. I was always a Virginia Tech fan growing up.
I got to go to one of their games in Tallahassee. It was fun.
But since I've been here in Tennessee, I'm liking Tennessee. I like what they're about. Haven't visited Knoxville per se, but the realm of what Tennessee stands for and some of the interviews post game with their players and coaches, I like what I'm hearing. I like it, and I can support a team that's about good people.
Sorry to the Gator fans out there.
Yeah, sorry for you. Oh well, Gator Nation. When I was in Gainesville, I asked some of the college students because we moved a motorcycle of a student that was in Gainesville, and we moved a couple of trailers and boats around of some students that were there. And it's like I asked them, I said, "What attracted you to want to go to University of Florida?" Well, it's the Gators. They got a cool mascot. Really? That's why? So that was a turnoff to me. It wasn't about any particular program they had academically. It was about the cool mascot, being a Gator fan.
Gators are out, Melanie said.
It just didn't. The whole thing just rubbed me wrong. I didn't like it. So I got to where I just didn't like Florida.
The only thing I don't like is how nasty I saw the Seminoles and Gators fans get with each other.
Oh yeah, they get disgusting.
Which I don't understand that because I liked some of the Gator players. I mean, everybody loved Tim Tebow, and I know there was the quarterback Brantley, and I used to deliver his granddaddy's mail, and he used to always say, because I'd be wearing Dolphin shirts or something, and he liked the Gators and the Tampa Bay Bucks. So he'd be like, what's wrong with you? Did you fall on your head as a child? Why are you wearing Dolphin stuff? But, just because they were affiliated with the Gators doesn't mean I didn't like them. Mr. Brantley was great. I loved having conversations with him when I delivered his mail.
Yeah.
He was a funny man. So I don't like that people get on each other because they don't like the same teams.
It's fun to support your team and root for them, and they get a first down and you're yelling at the TV, and that's all great. That's fine. It's an escape from reality, right? But when the game's over, if you win, be a gracious winner. If you lose,
sportsmanship.
Be a gracious loser. Okay, we lost this game. You guys outplayed us. We'll get you next time.
Because it's really all about the snacks, right? The snacks that people have at their little parties at their house.
It's good to get lively and excited, with your friends watching the game and get caught up in the moment. But when the game is over, you still got to be friends with everybody who's on the other side. So don't make it more than a game. It's just a game. It's just a football game. That's all it is. So don't make it more than what it is. Now here's my case in point. Some of you may know, and some of you may not have any idea at all. It just depends on how much you follow college football or watch the news. But this made the news, so it's a significant event, and it's still being talked about on the radio, on TV today. The Ohio State-Michigan game, big rivalry. It's been a rivalry for years that those two fight each other. Well, it was rivalry week, so a lot of states played their interstate rivalry. So in this case, it's Ohio State and Michigan, big rivalry. Well, at the end of the game, Ohio State's heavily favored in this game. I think they were ranked second in the country, and Michigan's not ranked. Now, I don't even know if they had a winning record. They were like 5-6 or something. So anyway, Michigan goes into what they call the shoe, Ohio State Stadium, and they beat them. I think it was 13-10 or something like that. It was a low-scoring game. So they beat them, and understandably, Michigan's jubilantly happy, so they storm the field. And then Ohio State's understandably upset about the loss. So what they should do is they should make them like the high school teams, make them shake hands, make them say good game, good game, good game, but they don't. And then you got all of both football fields and their fans are all over the field. And so a Michigan mascot or player, or I don't even know who he is. He grabbed the Michigan flag, all right, and he took to the middle of the field where they have the Ohio State Buckeye emblem on the field, and he's trying to put the flag into the ground in the middle of their what do you want to call it? Their symbol for their school, the Ohio State symbol. And he's trying to just kind of poke fun at Ohio State. We beat you on your own turf, and making a statement by putting the Michigan flag there. That's being disrespectful. Okay. And all that's going to do is incite a retaliatory response. And that's exactly what it did. So you got people and players that got into fights and had to be separated. So what I'm stating there is that was a poor display of sportsmanship, right? Wasn't it just enough to beat them and say, okay, we beat them. Yay, we're happy we won. That's it. Go get on your bus, finish celebrating on your way home, whatever it is you do, but you don't need to gloat in front of the other team like that. The time to do all that was during the game. The game's over. Now you make amends. Okay?
Yep. And as you can see, unfortunately, every team, just like everybody all over the planet, you have some bad apples everywhere that have a cruddy attitude. So, it's not specific to just the Gators or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't
And we
want
don't know
you to take it that way.
And it's not the whole
people like that everywhere.
And we're sure it wasn't the whole Michigan team that supported this. It was probably one individual or maybe a handful of individuals responsible for this. But it's poor sportsmanship. That's all I wanted to say about it. Right. I can't speak as to how many people were involved. I don't know. So I want to contrast that to the Texas A&M game, okay? Because it was played later. Huge rivalry. I think it goes back to the late 1800s. It's even a bigger rivalry than Ohio State, Michigan. Texas and Texas A&M. I've lived in Texas, and I'm telling you, high school football is on national TV in Texas. That's how big football is. So when Texas goes to Texas A&M, it's a huge thing. It's the fourth largest football venue in the country. So there's over 100,000 fans in the stadium. Texas, heavily favored, ranked third in the country. Texas A&M ranked 20th in the country. They could beat them. 20 can beat a high-ranked team. They're a good team. They're both really good teams. Texas A&M is at home, but they don't win. They lose, I think, at 17-7. So it was a low-scoring game. But there was some sportsmanship displayed in this game, and that's what I want to talk about. So they're at Texas A&M. The Texas A&M logo is in the middle of the field. Texas wins. The visiting team wins. They come onto the field with their fans, and the coaches of Texas displayed a great sense of sportsmanship. They wanted the players off the logo. They moved them off the logo and moved them off to the side, and I think that was a great display of sportsmanship. It's, yes, we came into your house and we beat you on this given day. But there's no need to escalate. These teams are going to play each other at least once or twice every year. Next year, it might be Texas A&M is a higher-ranked team. And they end up going to Texas and Austin, end up blowing them out. You never know. The teams are always going to go back and forth. It's not always going to be the same team winning. So show sportsmanship. So I want to say kudos to Texas and their coaching staff for respecting Texas's A&M's logo and getting them off the logo to say, hey, we're not here to discredit you or your university. You did a great, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to play football. We're all representing Texas here, and I think that was great. I love to see that sportsmanship. And so I was rooting for A&M. They didn't win, so what? They didn't win. I like Texas too because I like the sportsmanship that they showed. So I like the two of them better than either of the Ohio State, Michigan teams because of the display of hate for each other that they showed. I didn't like it. So
I don't know nothing about nothing.
I know I kind of rambled, but hey.
I don't follow.
That's my soapbox.
I don't follow the sports at all, really, unless you're watching some hockey and the Panthers are on. I know we have a lot of people from Alberta up in here, and I love all the Canadians.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that, it's not a U.S. versus Canada clash. It's just
most of the Panthers team is from Canada.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
How you like that?
So I just
But
thought
that's really the only sport I watch much is some hockey.
I just wanted to show and demonstrate the two examples that were given just recently, yesterday's games, because this is college football season. The bowl games are getting ready to start, and the college football playoffs are getting ready to start, and everybody's amped up. And I thought these four teams displayed sportsmanship in a good way and in a bad way. And I just wanted to contrast the two.
Well,
That's my soapbox.
Hopefully they can learn some lessons about how to treat each other a little bit better.
I thought that was very classy what Texas did. Say, hey, we realized you guys, without saying it, they didn't say it, but without using so many words, they said, Texas A&M, we understand you're upset. We beat you, but we still respect you. And I think that's classy. That's all.
I know. I used to like watching Pee-wee football. I like watching the little kids when they're running around in their little suits and they're giving it their all and they're so serious and, they're just cute. So I like watch the little Pee-wee games or go to high school games. Those are fun because you can really see them giving it their all. So
yeah.
I miss those days when the kids were little and you could go to the high school football games and all that.
So if you are interested in trying to get down to Otter Creek and you're going to be camping down there, maybe reach out to us and we'll see what kind of vacancies Rex has down there in the campground. If that's something you're considering.
Or they can call
let
Rex
us know.
directly.
Yeah, they could call Rex too. Yeah. Either way. That's fine.
Probably get a faster response on the vacancies if they just call directly.
That's true.
And I don't know how many people.
We don't need to mediate that, do we?
Not at all.
Okay. I stand corrected.
That would be silly. Not at all. But yeah, I don't know what kind of vacancies him or Zim have. So the best bet is if anybody wants to find that out, that they call Shady Oaks or they call Glowing Palms and find that out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That would be your best bet. And when we get there, we'll figure out what we're doing.
Yep. We're ready for whatever.
So we're not exactly sure of the exact date that we're leaving, but it should be a week to 10 days-ish that we'll be headed there. We have doctor's appointments this week.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we can hit a solid week in the gym before we hit the road again. We didn't get to go to the gym much this week because everything was closed.
They were only open for 2 days. So we went on the one day and then, I don't know why they closed. I don't know why. Your schools, where you're at, are your kids out for the whole week? That's what I wanted to know. I was like, I don't remember being out a whole week for Thanksgiving.
No, we didn't get a whole week off, but I know now they even have all these early release days or half days or whatever you call them. We didn't have those either. So everything's way different than it used to be.
Well, the fitness center that we use on Arnold Air Force Base, they were closed Wednesday. It's like, why? Wednesday's nothing.
Yeah, wait, I don't know.
Is that when you go out and buy your turkey? You can't do it on Saturday. You can't do it on Sunday.
I certainly don't think you should wait till Wednesday to get in the stores.
No, I don't think so either.
Stuff.
So I don't know why Wednesday wouldn't be a regular work day.
Wednesday to Monday return somebody. Ours was off Thursday through Monday.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, I don't know why the gym was closed all those days.
I don't know. I guess they figured nobody would be using it.
And, from working at the post office, you kind of learn to not make so much out of holidays. Because
you're going to work them anyway.
I don't know how many Thanksgiving days or Christmas days I had to work when I first started at the post office for the first many years.
But wait, people are going to say the post office is closed. It's a federal holiday.
Well, they still deliver express mail every day of the year. So somebody has to do it. Now they've contracted a lot of the express mail out. But when I first started, the RCAs had to go out on the holidays and deliver express mail as well as packages because they didn't want the carriers to be overburdened with all these packages. So you had to go in there on the holidays and run packages, deliver express mail. So you kind of start not liking the holidays so much. You don't decorate. You don't decorate a tree.
And some parts of the post office are still open. Just because the window service is closed and the mail routes are not being ran, you still have distribution trucks running between
You have clerks
cities.
throwing packages.
You still have
back.
clerks in the back throwing the packages, which
So
just means separating the
there's
packages.
always somebody whose holiday got ruined because they had to work.
Yeah.
And I had to do that so many times that it was just, it's just another day of the year it becomes to you.
You know what they ought to do, honestly? I think that I'm all for the federal government pushing regulations down to the states. I'm all for that. Let each state decide how they're going to run their state. So that if I live in a state that I don't like how it's being ran, I can go to another state. At least I have a choice. When the national government or the federal government puts out a policy, you can't run from it. It's every state is involved.
Canada Post has been on strike for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. They're going to have a lot of mail backed up.
Yeah, see, the post office here, you're not allowed to go on strike.
Yeah, see, they're not allowed.
So,
But I forgot what I was trying to get to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Why were you listening to me?
Because it was interesting. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, the choo-choo got derailed.
It did. Oh, I know what it was now.
Do I ever get hit by Brett when he's talking and his hands are going? I am all the time.
Too much hands?
I am all the time worried about, he's like the bull in the china shop. A lot of times when he's doing some work, I'm very hesitant to get too close to him to help because I have been whacked before. And I'm like, okay, so I just stand off to the side now instead of trying to jump in to help because I have gotten hit a few times.
People don't like the hands.
Well, because you get really close to whacking me, it happens all the time.
It looks
don't
close.
wonder why I have PTSD.
It's not really that close.
It is.
It looks close.
It really is. Don't mess around.
So,
don't give me a black eye, man.
I wanted to talk about the blue law. If some states have the blue law, you know, where they don't sell liquor on Sunday, or some stores close on Sunday, like Chick-fil-A is not open on Sunday. They don't lose any business. All that business comes back on Monday.
No,
they don't lose any
got
business.
It going on. They have lots of business.
So what I personally would like to see is, now you can't close prisons and you can't close hospitals and emergency services. Those are the exceptions. But everything else could close. Can you imagine Amazon closed for a day? Just take the site down. Sorry, we're not going to sell you that widget today. But I think every business should close on Sunday. I just think it's out of respect. They're not going to lose business. You're going to get that business on Monday when you open back up.
There are a couple of holidays now that Amazon does not deliver. I do believe Thanksgiving and Christmas, they do not run.
But they still sell stuff.
Well, they're not going to not sell stuff. I mean, come on. But they aren't delivering on those days. Oh, what the Hales is in the house. Hello, Jeremy and George.
Hey, George. How you guys doing?
We'll see you guys soon.
Yep, not long now.
But yeah, it's very few days that they close for delivery. Now, when I first started at the post office as an RCA, they didn't do Amazon Sunday. So Sunday was literally my favorite day of the week then, because that was the only day of the week I had off. I worked 6 days a week for over a decade with the post office. You can't get days off. And now that they deliver Amazon on Sundays, some of those subs can work a month straight, even though they're not supposed to. When it's especially the holiday time, they get used and abused. They don't get days off. So it's very rough on them.
Amazon has really socked it to the post office.
Yeah. Mayor Dan said his mom worked for the local post office, so he knows exactly how rough it is. You have to be.
It's not a well-oiled machine.
Hard worker for sure.
It's a very inefficiently ran machine.
It is. And I was surprised when I first started there, because I was like, surely this would be a well-oiled machine as many years as it's been running. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, if this was a private company, they would have been out of business a long time ago.
So inefficient.
Because they don't know what they're doing as far as efficiency and saving money. It's like you think it would have been just put together last week, and there's no accountability. There's no transparency.
And
It's a hot mess.
You know what they'll do? Like on a Sunday, this happened up in Williston when I was delivering in Williston, and I'm sure other places do it too, but I can only speak to us. They only had, I think, 8 routes. Was it 8 or 6? I think it's 8 routes. Anyway, let's say you have one person that's still out, and they got about 30 more minutes, and they'll be done. Would it be smarter to have everyone else come back and check out and get off the clock and just let that guy finish up? Because you have to close up anyway. You have to get things ready for the next day, get those people out, sweep up. And then by that time, that driver's back and you just lock up. Instead, they'll send 3 people out after him on his route, could be 20 miles out, to go help them deliver. Like each one might take 2 packages and deliver them in different directions.
Colossal waste.
So you have 4 people running around, increasing the risk of being on the road, increasing just to deliver 2 packages so that you can all get back and you might save 5 minutes. But you're going to pay 4 people and all those extra miles to get off the clock 5 minutes early.
When I was supervising,
and you know why they do it? It's because the supervisor wants to go home. That's it. It.
That's not why at all.
Why is it?
It's because the higher ups that are not even in that office are calling the supervisor every 5 minutes, wanting to know why people are still out, why this, why that, and they're riding them and they're micromanaging. They have no solutions for how to make it better, but they want to ride that supervisor and not let them do their job. And that's why they call it throwing the whole football team at that route. And that's exactly why they do. Instead of the supervisor getting a pair and saying, this is how it's going to be done. These are our failures. And if you have a better way, come down here and show me. I would gladly like the input, but they don't do that. All these big people sitting in the offices have all these grand little solutions, which do not work out in the field. And they just ride the people, the managers and the supervisors.
So they hire them. Joke. They hire them as supervisors.
And don't let them do their job.
But don't let them do their job.
Yes. Yeah.
And they wonder why it doesn't work.
Yes. And that's exactly right. And there's too many people in management and it's a hot mess. It could be fixed, but I don't foresee that it ever will.
Now, you having 18 years in the post office, me having a couple years in the post office, we both agree. Absolutely. They should privatize the post office. Now, you got a lot of old timers that'll be like, oh no, I don't want to give up their golden parachute. Look, if you're trying to efficient, if you want to make the post office efficient, and operate on a budget and not have to reach to the government to bail them out at the end of the fiscal year, you must privatize it because there's no accountability at the end user level. There's none.
I don't think that it has to be privatized. I just think it needs to be run right. And if they can't figure out how to run it right, then...
Which they obviously can't.
Then I guess they do need to privatize. But I think if they would just pull their heads out of their buns and let some people actually manage the place and do things that actually work.
That makes sense.
But they don't allow that at all. So, and they're like Mayor Dan said, they're very short in the neighboring communities. And that's the way it has always been. They are always short-staffed.
They're always short-staffed.
Because they do not treat their people right. And there's so many things that they could do better, so many simple things that they could do better, and they don't.
The biggest problem they have is retention. So they spend a lot of money training someone. It takes about 3 to 4 months to learn a route efficiently. And then they mistreat them, so they just
Therese's
quit.
Soapbox now.
Yeah.
Whoops, I'm sorry, I did that the wrong way.
Therese got her own soapbox segment.
But it's horrible the way they treat people. I guess you get that in a lot of companies nowadays. And these are problems that could be easily fixed because everybody wants to feel valued. So if I'm over here making $20 an hour and they're treating me like a piece of garbage, and I could go over here for a couple bucks less, but they're treating me like a human being and valuing me, I'm going to go over there for the couple bucks less because I'm going to have great effects on my mental health and on everything. I'm just earning a little bit less, but I feel great. And over here, I'm making $20 an hour, but now I have to go buy a bunch of prescription medication because my health is so terrible. So I'm spending that extra money I'm making on medications, chiropractors, whatever the case may be. So is it worth it to stay at that company?
And you never know with the post office what time you're going to get off work.
No,
you do not know.
No,
there is no time.
Life.
It could be 4 p.m. It could be 9 p.m. You have no idea.
Yeah, you have no life. They always say, don't bother making plans, because if you think you got the day off, your supervisor's going to be calling you.
Called in,
and you're coming in. So don't ever plan on it.
Yeah.
So, and you don't. For a good solid 10 years, because it took 8.5 years to make regular, I was always on call. And even when I was regular, I was still on the overtime list. So I think I still worked 6 days a week when I was a regular. So I just worked all the time. It'd be dark a lot when I got home.
And it's not fun finding addresses in the dark.
No, it's not fun. So you can't really have a normal life.
Nor is it safe.
And people don't have time to spend with their children. It's not a great setup for people at all, especially if you're a family running the family life and trying to spend time with your children.
You missed some college classes because you had to help someone else run a route.
Yeah,
you're done with your route, but you got sent back out.
And I would get sent back out sometimes 2 or 3 times. And I actually had a final exam to take that night. And they sent me back out a 3rd time to go help somebody. So I missed my final exam. Luckily, the professor let me make up that exam. But, it stinks because you can't get days off to go do doctor's appointments or to do anything like that, to get your car fixed. Nothing. Forget about having fun. You can't even get days off to take care of the important things, the necessary things.
And I don't think the post office tries to fix their problems. Like, they know they're short. No. They're always going to be short, but they won't hire more people until it's a crisis.
No, what they do is they like to find the meanest, bulliest postmaster supervisor that they can throw in an office and fix all the numbers so they look so good to everybody. Well, it's very easy to manipulate numbers now, isn't it? And that's what they do. They come in there, they threaten everybody. They walk around there like a big bully.
It's like a Mean Girls club.
Yes. And then they actually get a lot of joy out of walking through there and people thinking they're the biggest witch. Or there was one, she loved when people called her the devil. And she just got all pumped up how big and bad she was. And she loved to treat everybody like garbage. And she would manipulate numbers and make herself look so wonderful. And then when she got shipped back out, because she was just in there OICing, all the numbers would go back to where they were because it was all a manipulation. But, they pat themselves on the back for treating everyone like garbage and making those numbers so great.
And this is one tool that she would use to manipulate her numbers, the one that she's speaking to in particular, because she was over several post offices. And what she would do is send people home and she would work the window. That way she's saving man hours. But what she's really doing is she's stealing money from her clerk by sending them home early.
Yeah, you would get sick days, but you would get penalized for using them.
It's a game they play.
You couldn't use them. They would deny your leave, all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you got hurt, you probably would get wrote up. I did.
Yeah, you did.
I know several people that got hurt on the job that got wrote up for getting hurt.
Yeah.
Not, oh my gosh, are you okay?
They have a backwards way of thinking.
You're in trouble now.
Yep. And then they make you go through.
But that's why they're shorthanded, because people, they're not putting up with it anymore. They're just like, I don't need that. So what? You pay this amount of money, big deal. People are not that enticed by the money anymore. And when you think about it, it's really not that much more money these days. So yeah, they're going to get shorter and shorter handed, and they may need to privatize just to fix it.
There was a girl in Chiefland she was a seasoned RCA, not regular, but almost making regular. And she was just ready to quit and go back to a waitress job just because of the stress level. Never home with your kids. You're having problems with your husband or your ex-husband or whatever the dynamics are in your home life. You can't address them when you're at the post office. You can't be on your phone. You can't be doing any of that. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a mess. Anyway,
It's rough.
We got
So
a whole different soapbox.
I know, a whole different soapbox. And I remember when I started that, everybody heard the term going postal, right? So going postal, those people are going postal on each other.
It's not the customers.
Right. It's not on the customers, because I used to have a few people when it was Christmas time and you're out there doing packages. Some of your customers be like, hey, don't go postal on me. And I said, don't worry, you're safe. The customer's safe. We go postal on each other.
On management mostly.
But and I never understood way back when I didn't work there. I'm like, what do these people got to be upset about? They're making a great wage, blah, blah, blah. One weekend, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah,
I get what this term means now.
Yeah, I get it now.
So, but it is sad. And I feel for them because I know what they go through. I've been there. I've done it all. So definitely, especially during the season, thank your postal workers, your UPS guy, your FedEx guy or gal. Appreciate them all, because they all do hard work delivering your stuff.
They're under a lot of pressure. Those scanners are GPS now. All those companies.
They are micromanaged.
They're micromanaged to the hilt.
Unbelievably.
They can't spend any time at any one address. They got to hit and go, hit and go, hit and go, hit and go, hit and go.
Yeah. So don't think your carriers have time to have these long conversations with you.
They got to go.
And don't think they're being rude because they got to cut the conversation and go, but they're being monitored.
They're being monitored.
There's a little ping that gets sent, I want to say every 30 seconds. Don't quote me on that, but it tells them how long they've been sitting at that point. And believe me, when they get back to the office, that supervisor is going to be like, why were you sitting here for 15 minutes? You need to mark that as a break now.
Mm-hmm.
And so be nice to your carriers. They're all there working hard. Be nice to everybody in retail. Be nice to your waitresses and waiters.
Yeah.
Just be nice to everybody.
And tip when you go out to eat. If you can afford to eat out, it's so expensive. Tip well when you go out to eat, because that waitress is, you never know what kind of day they're having. So help them out.
You may have gotten bad service that day, and you're like, I'm not giving them a tip.
Don't do that.
But you know what? They might be having a horrible day.
Your tip might change their whole.
And it might change the service to everybody behind you. Mm-hmm. But just be nice, because you don't know what anybody's going through. They may have just had a huge loss of, you have no idea, or they're so stressed for money, and so they're in a bad mood. They're human. Try to change that mood around for them. Mm-hmm. See if you can't make them smile. You could help somebody who needs something, and you should do it all year long, not just at Christmas time. But just be more forgiving of each other.
Yeah, don't when we don't go out to eat that often, but when we do go out to eat, we do tip well. So even when you saw us on the videos going out and getting all this free food from these places on Veterans Day, we still tipped well, the waitress. So we tipped them based on what the bill would have been had they, because they're still providing the food. They still have to provide the service. So we tipped based on what the whole ticket would have been normal price. So be mindful of that when you're out there, you're tipping your services.
Heather asked, how do they monitor you? They monitor you through the scanner. The scanner that you use to scan the packages. There's GPS all in there. Mm-hmm. There's even something that tells them what speed you slowed down at the mailbox, how fast you accelerated from the mailbox. There's all kinds of little things. Now, I'm sure they're not 100% accurate either, right? But there's all kinds of little things in that scanner that just send information back.
Here's one little thing. This was mentioned in our class, actually, and I think your son mentioned it. It was funny. You're not supposed to back up. So let's say, I missed a package at that last address. So what you do is you place the scanner in the box that you're at. You back up to the one that you just passed, put it in, and you go back to that mailbox, pick the scanner back up, and keep going. That way the scanner never went backwards. The scanner went forward and sat, and then it got picked up and kept going.
The only problem was that
Yeah.
is that package is not going to get the actual GPS
scan. Yeah,
pinpoint.
It's not going to get an accurate scan.
So the carrier's not supposed to scan the parcel unless you're at the mailbox or at the door.
Right.
So if you're putting it in the mailbox, obviously that's where it would be. But if you walk up to the door, you're not supposed to scan it till you're at the door.
Yeah.
Because what happens is there's a pinpoint that gets thrown out to where that package was delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a lost package, management can go in and look at the exact location where it was scanned. So if the carrier scans it at the wrong place,
it'll show it.
Then it's going to look bad, because say that one is missing and you scanned it now at the neighbor's house, it looks like you misdelivered it when fact you did not. So that's the only reason that scanning at the door is more important, so that they can accurately find if something has been misdelivered, because let's face it, there are a lot of misdeliveries and everybody wants to know where their package is at. Yeah. So that's an important tool if used correctly.
An average mail route has 700 to 850 stops per day. They don't normally get on their route till about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, in the late morning. And they may be done around 5 or 6 on a typical day, on a typical number of packages in mail. So that's a lot of stops. 850 stops in 6 hours. That's a lot.
Wow. Somebody said the mailman broke their mailbox because they forced a very large box into it, and the post office didn't pay for replacing it. No responsibility was taken by them. That is a shame.
That can happen.
Because I know the offices I have worked in, if that would have happened, the supervisor would have had the carrier pay for a new mailbox. It's happened in several offices I've been where
I've seen
that carrier had to go out and install a new mailbox. So it really depends on the management of the office.
Right.
And I agree, they should have to. And I have seen carriers that do that, and they force them in because they don't want to get out. I used to say, because there were some packages that if the corners weren't on there, if they were rounded, it would have fit in the box so perfectly. So I used to joke that I was going to get a corner shaver and shave off the corners of the boxes so it could go in. But there would be some people I had to work behind that did that and force boxes in. And then I had to go out there the next day. And if I saw that, I certainly wouldn't leave that for someone to deal with. So I would get the box out of and take it to the door, but that would aggravate me working behind somebody who was doing that.
That's a lazy carrier that's doing that. They don't want to get out and walk it up to the door, and that's what they're supposed to do.
I know how stressed you are and how much you got to do. So just get your little hustle on and move those feet a little faster up to that door.
Now you can help your postal carrier out too, and all the carriers actually. One, have visible numbers on your house and on your mailbox. That's actually a 911 requirement. You're supposed to have, 3-inch or 4-inch letters on your house? I think it's 4-inch numbers on your house, and at least 3-inch letters on your mailbox numbers. Another thing you can do to help is have a bigger mailbox. If you have a bigger mailbox, they can get more stuff in it. If you're getting packages, more of the packages will fit in the box. Another thing you can do is provide a drop box. If you know you get a lot of packages, say you're a reseller, you know you're getting Amazon every day, then put out like if you're behind a fence, all they have to do is throw it over the fence. That's all they have to do.
I've had people that put up big boxes.
Put out a box for them to put packages.
Some of them even had a lock that I could put on after I put the stuff in it. Mm-hmm. So I've had people that have that before, which I thought was really great. There's some people are so very thoughtful of the mail carrier and the things they have to do. Other people didn't ever want to fix anything that was wrong. Like you'd have bushes and trees growing all over the place.
You can't see
there was no numbers on the boxes. On my routes that I ran, I carried loppers and I would go trimming stuff when I was out there. I brought numbers. I put numbers on people's boxes. I even on one route on my day off went out there with mulch and bags of rocks and filled these huge holes that were there because there were some dirt roads that were really awful on this one route, and there was these big holes near all the mailboxes. So I went out there and fixed all those things on my time, on my dime, and I improved my route. If the customer wasn't going to be bothered with it, I said, I got to look at this every day. I got to deal with this every day. I'm doing it for myself. So I did that.
I've even written on packages, which you're not supposed to, like put numbers on house, retain your dog, stuff like that.
My biggest problem with people not doing that is, what if you have an emergency and the ambulance is coming and they can't figure out which house to go to? Like, it's life or death emergency, and you don't have numbers on your stuff for whatever reason. You know, that's the biggest thing. But they're not going to, the pizza man isn't going to find you either. So
I always like those communities that had they got together and they all got similar boxes, and they're all nice big boxes. Like, my favorite mailbox was like this wide, and then it has the round top. You could get all kind of stuff in those. And there'd be 8 or 10 of them in a line, and they put them in a place where they've designated where you can turn around in one motion. You're going to save your carrier a lot of time, and they like delivering to those boxes. You know, so they're in and out. You're going to get mail faster, more efficiently. And help your carriers out.
There's also a lot of carriers that do some crappy things, and there's videos out there of that. Just like any other place, or
there's always an exception.
You know, there's just like we were talking about with the football teams, there's bad apples everywhere. So there is bad carriers. There's been people caught launching packages and, you know, doing all kinds of stuff when they're in their postal mood, and they decide they could care less about that job and they want to act a certain way. So it is shameful. And
in rural areas, some of the biggest problems are dogs. You roll up in there, you can't get out. The dogs won't let you out. You have to put it on the porch, and you can't. So you try to roll the vehicle up next to the porch and throw it on the porch.
That's the only time I have left it sitting on the back of somebody's pickup truck where I could get to their vehicle hood or something and just, you know, because I want to leave that package there because the people want you to leave that package. They don't want to have to come to the post office to pick it up. So I try to do that. So I would look for a place that I could place the package on and not get out of the vehicle so I don't get bit, because I have been bit before while working, and it's not fun. So I have done that, but I never launched any packages at people's porches or anything. If I couldn't place it on their vehicle, I think the one other thing I did when I had a mail truck was I put the package towards the back door, and from the inside, I lift the back door enough to shove the package out onto their driveway, and then I drove out of there.
Well, a lot of times with these pets, the owners think that their dogs don't bite. They all think their dogs don't bite. Those dogs won't bite you. Those dogs will bite a postal person because they're not familiar with them. And it's not always the same postal guy. So if there's a dog, there's actually in your scanner, there's actually an option, refuse to delivery refusal based on pet interference. And they can force you to go to the post office and pick it up. Yep, I've done that a few times, especially if I've told the owner, you need to have your dogs up when I'm delivering the mail. Once I've been by your house, then you can let your dogs out. I don't care.
And getting rode up for getting hurt, no, that probably doesn't happen at every post office. It really depends on the management.
It does.
The management of any post office can make all the difference in the place. And I would have to say these days, there's probably not that many that are good in management. There are some good, and they are some valuable people who make quite a difference in a lot of people's lives. And it's not much that you have to do to be that person.
Your management, though, is given a lot of latitude. Like, you can have really good ones and really bad ones.
Unfortunately, even though it is this huge company all over the place, I could walk into many different offices and nothing is run the same.
They're managed very different.
You know, there's a lot that is the same, and there's a lot that's not.
Yeah.
But it really depends on the management, because they choose how they want to treat people. Now, the upper people like it when they're making their people not happy, but it's up to that person to not bow down to the higher ups and treat people like garbage. They could do that. It's their choice.
A good leader knows how to manage their team, because you are a team. Develop a team concept, but they don't understand that. A lot of them don't. Some of them do. The ones that are good leaders is they're able to answer to the boss in such a way that it puts them at bay, gives them what they need to hear, and at the same time manage your team to work for you, with you, and you work with them. You have to develop a team. Yeah, my hands are going. But I'm trying to say,
watch out.
There's here and there's there, and you can get the two to work together. A good manager knows how to bring those two pieces together and get everybody, working on the same team.
And I'm so sorry we got on this soapbox.
It was a big soapbox.
I don't know where the time went, but I was one of those people who used to think I could fix it. And nope, it wasn't worth my health to deal with that or the way they wanted people to be treated, because that's not something I'm willing to do, is treat people like garbage.
Yeah.
So that's enough of that soapbox.
All right.
So bottom line is, everybody be kind to everybody, and you can make a huge difference in a lot of people's days all year long.
And it'll make your day better too.
It does. It really does. So
it's contagious. When
someone used to tell me, when you feel like crying, smile. It's like impossible to cry if you sit there with your face like this. Like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
At least not for long. So if you even fake smile, fake it until you make it. Like, you will make yourself stop being in that way. And a huge thing, if you're in a bad mood or feeling down, start listing all the things you should be grateful for. Look up to the sky and start thanking God for all those things that you're grateful for, and all of a sudden your whole mood will change.
Hey, expert.
We got the expert in the house.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
the
so
5
much.
there, expert.
Yes, you are awful at reaching out.
You can always reach out to madammayersadventures@gmail.com.
And we hope you have a Merry Christmas also.
Yep. Merry Christmas to everyone.
I guess you'll be staying here in Tennessee for Christmas, right?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll even venture over to your neck of the woods.
Where's he at? Is he in Nashville? I don't know.
I think he's near Pigeon Forge.
Oh.
Or Dollywood or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Where are you at, expert? I know he's in Tennessee.
I think George is in Pigeon Forge this week.
Really?
If he's still up there.
Well, that's cool. I haven't been there in probably 10 years or so.
Yeah, it's been longer for me.
We need to head over that way. It's fun over there.
Mm-hmm.
I know I did a lot of fun stuff when we were over there. There was like this white water rafting thing we did. There was even an Elvis impersonator in front of some pizza joint. It was a lot of fun. Knoxville. Oh, that's pretty close. Yes.
Yeah.
Dollywood would be fun. I want to go to Dollywood.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be a blast. We should get out more often. There's so much in Tennessee to do that we haven't done yet.
And that's part of why we picked it. But the cold kind of pushed in on us before we were ready. And now we got to go south for a little while. But yeah, we will get to it. We live here now, so we don't have to be in a rush.
Can enjoy all of Tennessee.
And Tennessee really is, it's been a fabulous place to live, to visit. It's just nice people. I've never met nicer people anywhere than I have here.
I love me some Tennessee.
That's it. Go Vols, just to throw that in there.
Oh, goodness. But, well, the time has really flown by.
Yeah, we've been on here an hour and a half, so let's make room for other people.
Too much time on the soapbox.
Too much time on the soapbox. We'll have to do a post office soapbox one day.
Oh, he's lived in every major area except Chattanooga, so he can be our tour guide. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I guess we'll wrap this up.
Wrap it up. Put a bow on it.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us. Thank you to all our members.
Yep. Thanks
I
for
know
the
this
mods.
week we were hanging out with our members during Thanksgiving. I was in the kitchen cooking and Brett was yakking it up with them. I don't know what we'll be doing with y'all this week. It's always
Let's find something.
spontaneous, so who knows? We appreciate hanging out with everybody. Thank you to all of our subscribers.
If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, do that on your way out. We appreciate that.
And always check to see if you're still subscribed. And when you hit subscribe, hit all for the notifications so you can get notified of whenever there's videos coming out. It's always free to subscribe. It does cost to be a member. It's a very low fee. If you're interested, hit the join button. And we appreciate every single one of you, whether you're a subscriber, whether you're a member. We love all of you guys. You guys are so much fun to talk to and hang out with. I appreciate this opportunity. And when we talk in emails, I know sometimes I get a little behind. I was recently, but I love talking to everybody and you guys sharing all your stories and pictures with us.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap.
Yep. So who knows what we're doing all this week if some exciting stuff happens. I know. Me too.
My cup is cold.
And pretty soon we'll be on the road again.
There you go.
Heading back to Otter Creek again.
I wish they put up some kind of page to let people know things like the festival and what's going on and what time it starts. Information. But they didn't put any out in the meeting and they don't have a website. So what do you do? Hope it hasn't changed. Or we're going to miss it or we're going to show up early.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Maybe it'll be just us.
Love you
All
guys.
Right, we love you guys. Thanks
Peace.
for joining us. Have an awesome week.
And be nice to each other and your neighbors.
Yep. Or else.
And go Vols.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.